Hi everyone, I'm Morgan Stevens.
And I'm Carrie Stevens.
And we are excited to welcome you today, wherever you are, to discussion group material based on the sermon series we're looking at together at Mosaic and the book we wrote together. Both are called
Friendship Can Save the World. And that idea is what we'll be looking at for 4 weeks. Not that friendship always does save the world, or that friendship always has saved the world, but that friendship can save the world.
And we're looking into the book of Ruth to see how friendship did that in the world once and just might do again in your world.
So during these 4 weeks, we're asking you to really prioritize meeting together. We realize it's a lot to ask, believe us. We know. We have a group that meets in our home too, so we are really in this with you.
And during that time, we'll be asking you to do a couple of things together as a group. But your video hosts each week, all of whom are community group leaders here at Mosaic, will give you instructions about those at the end.
So each week, you can expect a brief teaching from a chapter of the book of Ruth, a main idea, a quote or two from our book, and what we hope are 4 great questions to ask and answer together. After each question, just push pause on the video and then come back when you're ready for the next one.
And really, above and beyond all of this, our hope is that each person sitting with you around your table or together in a living room or backyard, that you would all grow closer and feel loved by Jesus and one another more deeply as a result of this time.
All right, so here we go. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Jubin Thomas.
And I'm Juno Thomas, and we're excited to be your host today for Friendship Can Save the World Discussion Group 1 based on the book of Ruth.
The Hebrew narrative of Ruth tells the tale of friendship between 2 women, a young pagan immigrant and an aging Jewish matriarch, who forge an unbreakable bond against all odds. Their story shows us how friendship and faith can sweep people up into the grand narrative of God's great story. It shows us how clinging to people dramatically different than ourselves can bring about unforeseen redemption. It reveals the imperative need in the world for healthy, grace-filled communities centered on mutual honor and sacrificial love.
Ruth gives us all this and much, much more. In short, through the power of the book of Ruth, we see that friendship can save the world because Ruth and Naomi's friendship did just that. Their multi-ethnic, multi-generational friendship literally saved the world, and we think it might be able to save yours too. How can your friendship save the world exactly? Well, let's see the story in Ruth chapter 1.
After their husbands' deaths, Naomi and her 2 daughters-in-law, Ruth and Orpah, leave Moab to return to Naomi's home city of Bethlehem. Naomi and her husband Elimelech had left Bethlehem many years before to escape a famine. Without husbands to provide for them, these 3 widows faced destitution in Moab. And since the famine in Bethlehem had ended, Naomi decided to return home and hoped to find a way to eke out a life. Along the way, Naomi considered the difficult life Ruth and Orpah would face as foreigners in Bethlehem, and urged both women to return to their parents in Moab and try to find husbands back home.
Both women wept when Naomi told them to leave her, but when Orpah went back, only Ruth clung to her mother-in-law, saying, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." That's from Ruth chapter 1, verses 16 and 17.
Here's the main point we want to discuss together. Ruth and Naomi stayed together in relationship through the power of clinging. Here's a quote from the book by Carrie and Morgan Stevens, Friendship Can Save the World. At the bottom of choices that move heaven and earth are not feelings, but an allegiance to relational connection above all else. Ruth made a covenant relationship with Naomi when she declared they would walk together no matter what. And she promised that the only thing that could separate them was death itself. Those were big, powerful, and sort of scary words when you consider their weightiness. However, those are the kind of covenant words that move God's kingdom forward, especially in generationally, ethnically, and socioeconomically diverse relationships and friendships. Those are the kind of words God uses to complete His greatest work.
Now let's talk about what we've heard so far. We have 4 questions for us to discuss in our groups. First question: how do you think Ruth found the courage to leave her life in Moab behind and cling to Naomi, promising lifelong fidelity? Take a few minutes, keep an eye on the clock, and come back in a few. Here's our second question. How might we benefit from navigating these challenges in our effort to cling to our friends even when they're difficult?
Can you share about a meaningful friendship you've experienced with someone culturally, ethnically, or politically different from you, and how you connected with one another despite, or perhaps because of, your differences? Finally, Jesus clung to us when we had nothing to offer Him. How might that statement shape how we see the people in our lives who have nothing to offer us?
And here's our final quote for you today. Unity, belonging, and diverse friendships are not flowers that grow and bloom haphazardly without any effort or sacrifice. Instead, when our intentional choice to cling to one another stems from God's covenantal love, as Ruth did, a better future awaits us despite the storm battering us today. But we can only get there together.
Just as Ruth's intentional choice to cling to Naomi involved faith and sacrifice, this month we will sow our own faithful acts of friendship into the lives of the people around us in 2 ways. First, let's consider your literal neighbors and coworkers. Choose one person you know who could use a friend. Then think of a generous act of friendship you could offer to remind them that they are seen, loved, and valued. This act of friendship could be delivering a coffee to them at their desk, offering to babysit or mow their lawn, leaving a plant and a funny card on their doorstep, or just invite them to dinner one night. Be creative and have fun with it. Then watch to see how God's goodness blooms because of it.
Secondly, take the last few minutes of your time today to choose one person in the group to pray for this week, making sure everyone has someone praying for them. Then switch it up next week. Share any specific needs or prayer requests with the person clinging to you in prayer this week. Check in to share what you've been praying and any additional hopes, needs, and worries that may arise. So let's go and be good friends in the world and watch what God will do.